Hi, this is Zari. I'm back with Howl Again, or Howl Along with Spot, and I wanted to show you all the latest in our mask designs. And we had started out showing uh, our design here with the dog face mask, and we have evolved that a little bit by having a mask with ears. And it's very important for Spot to wear ears when he's out and about. And the thing is the ears have the elastic loops, and that allows a kind of spacer to keep the ears, the strings in place around where they're supposed to be. And then we can tie both of these in. And again, the tongue is actually a flap, and I don't have it on right yet. There, I have it on right now. But the tongue is a flap that allows entry into the mask, or a straw or something like that. And the ears are actually also pockets. Like, for instance, you can stick something in there and it'll hold. More normally a pen, not just hand. Whoops. And so that's our Spot mask. Pretty good, huh? Now, I'm going to take that off, and that's not the way you're supposed to take a mask off, but we're here alone, so I'm going to do it that way. The next thing we're going to show you is kind of a related subject because, when the COVID virus broke out, there had already been this whole polarization around face coverings because first you had, you know, this whole history where they had laws against the KKK wearing masks, which they didn't enforce, but instead used that to enforce against anarchists who are quite frankly fighting the KKK, which is kind of weird. Um, and this is kind of this whole thing about the very when we talk about the veil in Muslim countries, the very first veil laws. This goes back before the codes of Hammurabi. It was veil laws that prohibited slave women from wearing masks because it would cover up their brands. So it's always been this control from above. And it's like even under the skies when you see some of these European countries, and it's happening here in this country where the question is like, we're gonna insist that women not cover their face in order to protect their rights. You know, as mezzanine, we often wore the full veil within the traditional medieval sense of European medieval veil, which was just as much as like the burqa was. It create. It's not that it just hides your face; it creates a private space that you're within, even when you're in public. So it's a very profound experience that someone can voluntarily take on. And that's the thing. It's a question of whether you're deciding to do it or whether someone else is deciding to do it. And that's always the question. Because if you're insisting someone else live in a certain way, you're having a problem. And one of the things we're kind of interested in, you've all seen The Handmaid's Tale. And this whole thing about the handmaid's wings that are attached to their hats. And, certainly within that kind of culture depicted, it's a culture of such oppression that it could give those wings to women and make it a form of controlling them. Because the thing about the design itself is that it gives the woman control of who sees and does not see her face. You know, the blinders, it doesn't blind you, it blinds who you're sharing your face with. And, the fact of the oppression was the fact that they could hand this tool to a woman and force her to use that tool in a certain way. That's the expression of control. It's not the tool itself, because the tool itself, two handmaids talking together, they're like in a cone of privacy from the old Get Smart series. And to show you some of that potential, you remember our old friend Liar Tuck? We have modified him to a little bit of a makeover with a special little handmaid's hat, because this handmade hat has photovoltaic material around the back. And if you had photovoltaic material on the back, you could cover the inside with LED lighting so that you can have the lighting coming from the back of his face, which, of course, in the dark, that would silhouette your features so that you totally control the situation of how you're conducting yourself with some other individual. In fact, we have it on good authority. You ever heard of the flashbang, like cops use to control crowds? There's a flash part of that bag that's done with lighting, and it's not. Elizabeth says she's not sure if it could be done with LED lighting. My main concern is how it interacts with hairspray, but you can have the flash portion of that to be a non-lethal weapon incorporated into a handmaiden's bonnet. Isn't that cool? Not only that, but there's this thing with facial recognition. You know, you have this lighting here. His cheeks are supposed to be shadowed in a certain way compared to the light. That if you change the way the lighting hits the face, facial recognition doesn't recognize it as a face, so it doesn't even go into biometrics. Isn't that amazing? So the thing is the question is, this is not the tool or it's not the style, it's the application of who's making the choices of how someone expresses themselves to the world. You know? And there's a certain amount of power in fashion. So give the handmade bonnet a little bit more inkling in terms of what it can be done with it. Thank you and have a good day, and check out the styles in Zari's best gallery within Spot's TV and Art Gallery. Thank